Hi, I'm Dr. Ben LaHood, cataract and refractive surgeon from Adelaide, Australia. I'm here with BVI at ESCRIS 2024 in Barcelona. I'm going to be talking about social media and ophthalmology and really a beginner's guide to what you should and shouldn't do just from my experience. So, some financial disclosures, not really anything important there. My background, I'm a cataract surgeon, I do some laser. My research interests are around cataract and laser surgery, surprisingly, and I do quite a few podcasts. So that's probably a big part of my social media, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. And a lot of, I think the social media that's attracted attention has been through Instagram. So I'll give a little bit of guidance on those as well as some other forums as well. And I just wanted to have a personal disclaimer. I'm no guru, I'm no marketing expert. This is really just what's worked for me and what has probably gained attention. And of course, I did actually write this talk. This is not ChatGPT. So my journey in social media, I think, is kind of interesting because I didn't sort of naturally, I wasn't a big social media follower or user up until a big job change that happened. During COVID, I had to move countries, had to move jobs, make a big change. And somebody said to me, well, you know, if you're not on social media, people might think you've dead. So I thought, well, that's probably a good idea. You got to stay relevant, got to stay out there. So I started using Instagram, started being on LinkedIn, doing all these things, built a successful practice, really turned it into more of a digital practice where my referrers can relate to me, I think create some interest. You know, I'm at events like this where people, industry would like to have me involved, and it's given me opportunities. And you know, in the last couple of years, it's even gone as far as being in the top 100 most influential ophthalmologists in the world. So I feel like it's been successful. So I've got the odd thing to talk about. Key ideas I'm going to talk about: creating a digital brand, my modern day on a mobile, up-to-date practice, and of course, social media and eye care. I do think that you do need a digital presence. You know, you don't want to be too stuck in the mud, don't want to be thinking, I don't need it, I don't really have any competitors. I think we all need to be able to be found. So the problems that I faced moving to a new city, there were already established surgeons there. I didn't know any referrers, didn't really know the industry people, no word of mouth to build on. And also I'm quite a private person, it might surprise you, but I didn't really want to share a whole lot about myself. So, you know, is social media really for me? So I started with Instagram, just started posting the odd interesting case, interesting photos, but I think what I tried to add was value. You know, not just putting up a photo of an eye, but actually doing some teaching and saying, this is how I managed it, this is what I did. Often complications, you know, not always the positives, sometimes the things that went wrong. And I think that honesty was probably the biggest draw card that people found interesting and differentiated me from other people. So in terms of what works, just from my point of view, this is not from research, this is purely anecdotal from who engages with my posts. So people love videos, short videos, surgical videos, me flying on a carpet videos. Faces attract attention. So, you know, from someone like me that honestly, you know, coming from where I did, my friends gave me a lot of grief about putting my face on social media. I didn't love it, and you'd be surprised, but now I feel comfortable with it, and faces do draw attention. So, you know, not just a crowd, but put your face up there, nothing to be scared of. They really work. Interesting cases, though, without doubt, really draw people in. What helps interaction? I think, you know, sharing something a little bit personal. For me, sneaker collecting is sort of my thing. I don't feel like I have to share, you know, about my private life, about partners, family, anything like that. But I do think sharing a little snippet of something that makes you a bit more relatable. You know, from this, you know, I've had patients that have come and seen me and said, can I give you some pairs of sneakers if you do my LASIK? And, you know, medico-legally I say no, but I'll buy them later. But I think that, you know, things like that that make you more human. I come to these conferences, people say to me, what shoes are you wearing? You know, it's a touchstone. And I think sharing a little bit of something about yourself is really good. What doesn't work? And if you look at my page right now, you'll see this, unfortunately, because I'm at ESCRIS, but conference photos are boring. No one wants to see that you are on stage. No one really cares that you were giving a talk. It's very tempting, and I do it quite a bit. And anytime I publish something, obviously I put it on, but I'll try to spice it up a little bit. You know, say I'm putting a publication up, not just a picture of the words, but maybe you know, a video that goes with that, or me talking about the article more than just the article. So just try and avoid just basic words, text, and conference photos, sadly. Except if you want to put a photo of me talking right now, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I also started with LinkedIn, and I had a colleague from industry that told me, why you're not on LinkedIn? And this will sound naive, but I thought LinkedIn was for when you want to find a job, and I already had a job. But now I realize that LinkedIn is Facebook for professionals. So, you've got to be on LinkedIn. You've got to be seen with your peers. I don't post the same content, and I think deciding what content goes on what platform is a really big deal. So, for me, Instagram is where I put my fun stuff. LinkedIn is where I might talk about my articles, sort of disseminate that knowledge, talk about issues, raise more serious topics. In terms of LinkedIn, when I did used to try and put more surgical content on there, I would be forever getting posts banned. They'd be telling me I put graphic content on. It was nothing pornographic, but it was just eyes. And it's disappointing when you see someone else putting surgical videos on that are accepted. But for the risk of being banned from a forum like LinkedIn, I just stopped doing it, and that's fine. I'm sure that there are probably some competitors that are telling them my posts are not good, and that's okay. You just got to decide what works for you. And so for me, LinkedIn is for articles, it's for content relating to eyes specifically. More Instagram, more fun. Surgical videos are very acceptable there. I also put out a newsletter, and it seems a little narcissistic that people would want to hear about me, but this is really good locally for my referrers because it keeps them up to date. I think like a lot of people, we do a lot of stuff. So I'm over here in Barcelona giving a lot of talks. Sometimes we run CPD events for optometrists. It's a really good way to connect, be at the top of people's inbox, just so that your name recurs and they think about you. So when they're seeing that patient that needs cataract surgery, they're thinking, oh yeah, Ben did email me, I'll give it to him. So I think the newsletter for me has been really good. It shows a similar format each month. It's a little bit about what I've been up to, an interesting case, a question from someone, and just getting out there, just getting your name out there. I also, last year, realized it was probably time to reassess what I'm doing and thinking, I'm putting an awful lot of time into this. I'm doing a lot, but it's all peer focused, and I really need to be a little bit more focused on my referrers, thinking about my patients. They don't really want to see complications. They really don't want to see me joking in the operating theater. They don't want to see anything like that. They want to see some serious marketing material. And so I decided to work with a marketing company, actually just one person, Margot, she's amazing, who helps me with more of the patient-focused stuff. So I can still give an authentic, peer-focused material, videos, content, but someone else can put more of the professional stuff out there, not quite as much personality to it, but just so there's content, because content is key online, builds a presence. So I divided it like this, where I still produce all of my authentic, me, Ben-related social media, relatable stuff, and more of the patient-focused laser surgery type marketing could be given to someone else. So I didn't have to worry that I'd be putting people off by the content I enjoy making. I like creating stuff, but you have to think, is it reaching the right market? So I've really divided that recently, and it's been good. So just as an example, recently my peer-focused post about LASIK was a patient that came back from India with a crinkle in their LASIK flap that I smoothed out. The surgical video is really interesting. I think was probably one of the most popular videos I've ever put up. But on the same day, my patient-focused media, I don't want them knowing there's a complication in LASIK. So that's a very sterile photo of LASIK and how great it is. So dividing that has made me feel a lot more comfortable with the material I put up, knowing that there's also a more professional side of it. In terms of building a digital brand, I think the key thing is with all the material we put out there, making sure it links together. This is probably where you might need someone with an IT background, or, we all get these emails talking about SEO, search engine optimization. It is worth it, because I was putting a lot of material out there on all these different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, but if they're not linked back to a common source, then it's kind of wasted in terms of Google rankings. In terms of Google, that strategy is forever changing. I think you can either spend a lot of money and buy certain keywords that you'll sponsor on Google, or you can be a bit more strategic, try not to break the bank, and just put your material out there, but make sure it links together back to your website, that you've got the keywords in your website, and that you're not having to spend a lot of money on that. So I prefer creating the content, putting it out there and organically growing, but you can spend money on it and do it that way as well. Google rankings are really important. I think a lot of people don't look past the first page of Google, and you've really got to think of what are the keywords that your target audience are looking up. Make sure they're in your website. Make sure that they're in your social media. So you'll probably notice that I often use the hashtags cataract surgery, Adelaide, because that's what I want people to look at, and I want it to link back to me, and I want to be top of that list. So it is important to be a little strategic with when you are posting things, making sure that your keywords are in your post. So if I'm posting a video on cataract surgery, I say the word cataract surgery. I don't say phaco. I don't use any terms like that. Just being consistent with your branding. And so my referrers do have, I think, a very special relationship with me because I'm available. They see me online. I want them to know that they can contact me. And it is time consuming, but that connection is really worth it. It does build a lot of loyalty. A lot of people feel that they can send me a case, a picture, and ask me their opinion on it. And I like it. It might not suit everyone because you do need to be able to respond. I don't think you have to be able to respond immediately, but probably within the day, you have to be comfortable sending a message back and talking about cases without seeing them as well. So there's some examples. I'll have optometrist colleagues that will send me cases, send me photos, just ask opinions. And I don't necessarily want to see these people, but I think that it's a relationship where they see that as very helpful because in their day, they've got an immediate response. Maybe it means it's more likely that they're going to send me a patient as a referral. So it is, none of it is completely selfless. There's always an aim. I'm building a business here, but I think being nice, being available and being affable counts for a huge amount. And social media lets me portray that because with the messaging, I can be very contactable and very present. Podcasting. So I don't think podcasting's for everyone. There are more podcasts than there are listeners, let's be honest. There are topics of podcasts that sometimes I don't even listen to my own podcasts. Like, there are too many podcasts out there, to be honest. The one that I love is Ophthalmology Against the Rule, and we're about a year behind with content, and I promise to anyone that's listening that is actually interested, there are more episodes coming because I love this because it's raw, it's real, it's authentic, and we're talking about real issues that affect ophthalmologists. So more coming soon, but I think the key to why it's been interesting and why people love it is that it's really honest, and that's got us in trouble at times, but that's what I want to listen to. I want to listen to authentic, non-branded content. Now, the other side of that, the flip side, has been I do podcasting with Rainer, and this has been amazing for me. It's given me a lot of opportunities. I think the social media marketing for them has also been positive, to be honest. I think they've, it's I'll help you, you help me. Sometimes it can be a little hard to be entertaining, talking about a serious topic with serious surgeons. And sometimes you do feel a little pressure to be funny, to be entertaining. And you worry, are people going to get sick of my New Zealand accent? Do they even understand what I'm talking about? Maybe not. And so I like this. I mean, for me, this is far less work. It gets you out there. I greatly enjoy it, and it's been really beneficial. But to get that relationship with a company where they're happy for you to host something may be difficult, but certainly being a guest on a podcast would be something you could easily market yourself, put on your social media. People listen to you. Very positive if you can get that relationship. And of course, probably the biggest question, should I start a podcast? No, probably not. I mean, it's a lot of effort. You have to be comfortable really putting yourself out there, thinking on the spot, editing things. I do think there's huge potential out there for an ophthalmology/optometry collaborative podcast somewhere. But in terms of if you're not already doing one and you're thinking, what should I do with social media? Probably not podcasting just yet. Get started first. If this is a beginner's guide to social media, maybe don't start with a podcast. So some really common questions that I get asked about social media, sharing and discussing complications. Now, I get a lot of people that will message me and say, wow, that was really brave of you to talk about dropping that lens. Oh, wow, that was really brave of you about lasering the retina accidentally. I feel comfortable about it because I know that I'm a competent surgeon. I've got patients that have given me good reviews. I know that I'm safe and that nothing I'm talking about is inherently dangerous. But I think it's really good that someone is talking about that it's not always perfect. One of the things I hate is going to a conference, seeing horrendous surgery, corneal transplant followed by a retinal detachment, day 1, 2020. No, it wasn't. There's no need to lie. I think we all have complications. We all know that you're not a real surgeon until you've ruptured a capsule or two. And so realistically, I think it's educational, it's therapeutic, and it's honest. I think more people should do it. Sharing personal content, I don't think you have to share about your personal life particularly, and I don't. I have a problem with sneakers. I probably cheaper to have a drug habit, but it works for me. It's relatable, and I enjoy it, and I think it's not too personal that it creates any kind of problem. So share something. And of course, what about memes? I think one of the things, sometimes I'll go to a conference and they read out your bio and they introduce you, and now it's turned into, this is Ben LaHood. He creates memes, and he also does some research. I enjoy making memes because it's a way of getting a message across without, you can be a little tongue-in-cheek. There can be sort of an honest message to it, but you can do it in a joking way, and they spread, and people will listen to them. They love them. They're interested in them. I've heard people from industry saying, we were in a marketing meeting and we put up one of your memes about our product, and you were right, it was rubbish. And so they do get out there. There is some truth to it, and I enjoy it. Of course, there is a fine line between fun and offending people, and there has been the odd meme that I've taken down because maybe it's crossed that line. I think this one was fine, but there are some. What about creating this? Is it very time consuming? There's no way around it. Yes. If you do it yourself, you want to be authentic, you want to do it yourself. If you want to do it to that degree, it is truly time consuming. You can timetable it. You can allocate things. People often ask me, how do I decide? How do I know what to make? What video should I do? I think if you ask anyone that creates things, I don't know. I think make it relevant. Talking about recent technologies, recent techniques is always the best. And you can hire it out. You can get other people to do things for you. But ultimately, if you're the one doing the posting using your language, I still think that's the best. It'll always come across authentic. Then when you're talking at an event like this, you sound exactly the same. You're not fake. You're that honest person that they know. And that's really nice, is that they've seen you online, meet you in person, and you're the same person. You can't beat that. What are the benefits I've seen? Why should you do this? This is the big crux of it. Definitely patient growth. My practice has grown because you're out there, you're known, you're seen. You're at your top of people's thoughts when they're thinking about referring a patient to you. Patients obviously want their doctor to be out there doing things, the latest technology, knowing what they're doing. It's definitely built stronger referrer relationships where we are close. We can message each other, and nothing really beats that. And of course, it's given me opportunities, which have been awesome. So for me, one has been I've been able to be an entrepreneur. I've started an eyelid sunscreen product, which is available later this year. And so, there are things like that where it gives you an audience to do these things for. It's let me collaborate with other brands. So Figs is a scrubs company, latched on to, they like my sneaker posts, and they say, well, can you post our scrubs with your sneakers? And can we look at that, and can you help market us? I love it. I get free scrubs. It's win-win. But opportunities like this would never have come about if I didn't put myself out there on social media. So they've been great. And, of course, I'm still waiting on my Nike deal, if you're listening. Obviously, industry opportunities like this with BVI. I obviously use BVI products. I like them. But also, there are companies that say, well, would you like to help us? We will help you in some way. And whether that's marketing, using products, speaking opportunities, all of these things, there's no necessarily monetary gain with all of them, but the more content you have out there, the more you're out there, and it links back together, your profile rises, it helps the company, it helps you. Not really much downside at all. Obviously, one big thing is, do you get negative feedback? And you do. You put yourself out there online, you're trying to entertain and inform at the same time, you're going to offend people. You do have to have a little bit of a thick skin. There will be people that don't like what you do, and sometimes they're going to be local. People won't necessarily say to your face, but you'll find out that people don't like what you're doing. They don't like your promotion, that sort of work, and that's fine. I think, as you grow up and you grow more confident in what you're doing, and you're putting content out and you know that you're not doing anything wrong, I think you just have to be confident in what you're doing. And it's hard at first, but it gets easier. And what about patients as follows? This is a little bit of a tricky one because I do everything publicly. I'll put out a meme about dry eyes and I'll have 5 patients messaging me on Instagram saying, was that me? I'm sorry if I took up your time today, I'm sorry. And I have to explain, no, that's just generic, but no, it was you. But I think, that is part of being publicly visible, is that people can follow you, they can nitpick your content. But to be honest, as long as you're not doing anything offensive, patients enjoy a joke. Medicine can be so serious, and I spend a lot of my consultations talking to patients, taking time. They know me. If they see some content that they think relates to them, they'll still understand. Have that relationship. I don't think put up anything funny if you're not that kind of person. If you're not a talkative sort of person that's happy to chat to people, maybe don't give that impression with your online content. But if it matches, you're totally fine. And what about creating viral content? We know what people like to watch. They have very short attention spans. There's benefits to making something viral. It grants followers. You get noticed. It gives you a bit of a dopamine hit when people like it. And so one of my videos that I think has probably spurred on today's talk was this one, which was about me trying to explain laser eye surgery in an amusing way. I do eat a lot of McDonald's, and again, I wouldn't be against a sponsorship deal with McDonald's. But, just showing the different ways that we do LASIK, PRK, SMILE, using something relatable and interesting has created a lot of I guess, interest in this video. And, it took me 5 minutes to make on the kitchen table before I ate all 3 Big Macs. So, low cost, simple idea, and it's given me a lot of benefits, to be honest. I think, how do you create something viral? You don't know till you've made it. And I probably knew this was a big deal when people started sending it back to me, and I said, but that's my video. So, it did do the rounds, and people found it interesting, and I loved it. And so, think about things like this. What could I make that would be entertaining to people and would still inform them? So little things, simple things like that. So I think recommendation-wise, if we're thinking, how do you get started? Dare to share. Get started. Don't overthink it. I think create accounts at least, so you've got them there, so you can put material up. You come to a meeting like this, put up something, put a photo up, put a video up. Make it interesting. Think what you like watching as well. Separate your peer and patient-focused material, because you do want that differentiation. I think you don't want everything to be exactly the same. For me, I think be authentic, and if you do need any help with any of it, I know I've talked a lot about competition and this sort of thing. There's room for all of us. There's plenty to go around. So if you do want any help, there's my details. You're more than welcome to contact me. But thank you very much.